Welcome to Redeeming Thunder and Daughters of Fire. Bro, sis, you need to listen to this prophetic word because there is a turning point here. This was given to me on 7/13/2026. Now, during this time, you were interacting with your potential king ordained spouse. And you admire this person so much, but in that moment in time, you have been going through a lot of mixed signals. The person's doing a push and pull due to their fear avoidant or their anxious avoidant tendencies, and while praying in the spirit, I heard Maka Maki Ama. And upon researching what this means, it's Hebrew number 4352 for Maki. It means to be low, poor, or humbled, often carrying a sense of pining or languishing. And that is why I know that you've been going through such a difficult time. Pining for an individual, waiting for them to launch, and you don't see. And you're wondering because this is the appointed times for them to do it. You've been watching, listening to the prophetic words, and you know this is the appointed time. And you're thinking every time that you interact with a person is going to be the moment where they finally disclose how they feel. And they insinuate. And what I realized is those insinuations of interest has been the push and pull, where they pull you in, and then right when it gets close, they feel vulnerable and they push away, and they act like you're just friend zoned now. And that has been the part where it states being brought low and languish. So pining for something is desiring something, someone. And so it's gotten to the point where you're starting to feel unworthy. It's gotten to the point where you're feeling devalued. It's gotten to the point where you're starting to lose yourself in this, because how could the person that acts so interested and you have awesome conversations and it's very intimate and you have this beautiful eye contact and the spirit upon spirit connection, yet that person then does this? It feels all the more heartbreaking, to be honest. It might have been less confusing if the person was rude and then also distant and also failure to launch. But because this person was so interconnected, you could feel the love through their eyes, and then they do that push and pull, right? They did it so that they could draw you in and keep you interested and keep you needing them. Because as long as you were needing them, they were on the reaping end of feeling your attention and support. Okay? Now, the next word is, so the first word is maka, which means journey pulling up of stakes, breaking camp. The second word is maki, which means due to pining, due to being overly humbled, being brought low, languish, in grief. And then the next word was ama, handmaids. He's talking about the handmaids in this hour. Okay, so it's a pining would be someone that is deeply yearning. It's causing mental or physical suffering. Some of you have been feeling physical, emotional pain due to this push and pull scenario with the potential king ordained spouse. So Your hands could be hurting, your collarbone could be hurting, might be clenching your teeth because there's an unspoken word there. So now you've developed a TMJ, which is no good. Wear a mouth guard and put it on the bottom teeth, not on the top. Okay, meanwhile, you have a lot of unspoken word because you have a lot of questions that are unanswered towards the individual. And since you don't want to chase, you're waiting for that person to launch, and you're noticing that all of the requirements that they were supposed to do, they haven't done yet. And you are pressed for time because you're knowing of the appointed times. So now you're in anguish because you're worried that they're missing their Kairos moment. And that's all the more anguish. Okay, so it's someone that has been dealing with mental or physical suffering. Maybe your shoulders feel heavy. Maybe your rib hurts. In the area of the rib would be emotional pain regarding indecisive. So now you become indecisive of what you want, what your truth is, because you want something yet you don't really want it anymore because it's just so confusing, and you don't like to feel unworthy or devalued. You don't like to be second string, you're first, right? You're not understanding. It doesn't even make sense to you. And you've been everything for this person. They're grounding force, which they're really, really enjoying. And now, then I hear, kiss me, kiss me, kiss me, like 10 times. So this is the part of the Kiss Me series of the Ordained Spouse. Then I hear Ka Yi Ama 3 times, which means in this manner, a surprise, a shock, admiration, and he's talking to the handmaids. So now you have to understand that you need the relationship to go past awesome conversations to a romantic relationship. You're past, you already know the person enough to understand that this would be a good match. The Most High had you guys interact for a reason. But now the Most High is saying you need to break camp. You need to not be there anymore. Now, are you going to listen to the Most High and remove yourself from that scenario? There's a reason why the Most High is saying break camp now. Please listen to Purpose and Promise with Judith. And the title is Someone Else is Weeping Uncontrollably.
Someone is weeping uncontrollably, realizing they threw away a rare blessing like you. And you see, the hardest tears to explain are the ones that arrives long.
Now, the reason why she's saying this is because you have since pulled your energy all the way away to the point where you no longer are selecting them. You no longer are going to wherever you have interacted before. Okay? This occurred recently. And there's been some break of you interacting with the individual, and now they have a chance to reminisce of all of the times you were hanging out together and all of the compliments and all of the sweetness and all of your light. And you have a Joseph mantle on you. So when you had left, abundance left as well on their life. Fortune left as well on their life. Not on your life. You're still living it. On theirs. So now they could have had a bunch of customers and now they don't really have any. Let's say they have a business. They could have had enough money to go around. Now they don't have. They could have had, you know, everything working, and now things are falling apart, breaking in the house. Do you know what I'm saying? So they're experiencing havoc. They're experiencing just a heavy load where life is not the same without you in it. You bring a certain light. It's heavenly. There's a certain echo. Heavenly echo. The other thing is they realized that they might have taken you for granted. They thought that you were just basic and they could replace you with just work, with business ventures, with, you know, maybe a new house or whatever that they get, with purchases, going on a shopping sprees, or with a counterfeit. They thought that they could find you with that feeling that you bring with all these things, and they can't. They're not going to be able to. Everything is purposeful what's going on right now, and all they have now is these memories. All they have is these trinkets that you left behind. All they have is the lack of control that they were trying to hold on to so much. And they basically taught you how to live without them. When you were explaining and explaining that you needed a certain level of attention and care. And they gave you no input. So for you, silence was rejection. Because they didn't give you any feedback to hear their side of the story of what they're going to do to make it work. Do you know what I'm saying? And maybe you're thinking, well, they didn't really have a chance because we interacted only temporarily. They could have called you. They could have texted you. They could have came to your house to visit you and tell you in person. They could have done those things. They could have made it awkward. They could have stood up and said it at many different moments. And they're stuck in the limbo of, I'm going to do it now, and they keep erasing the text, or they keep just about dialing your phone number, and then they don't. I'm sorry, but that is very, sorry, not sorry. That's very unattractive. Where it's like, just about, and then not. That's very unattractive. Because if you imagine marrying this person, are they going to continue doing that? Say they're going to do something and then they don't follow through. That's incredibly annoying. A lot of marriages end because of that. Because they promise they're going to do something and then a day goes by. Then 5 days go by. Then 2 weeks go by. Then 3 months go by. And that project is still not done. And a lot of people are like, that's just marriage problems. I don't think it really is. I think it's someone's lack of care. Genuine care. Lack of follow through. I think they have a love for their own agenda and not the love for yours. And I believe the man is supposed to serve the wife and make her happy and fix her problems. And she's supposed to be not scolding, not reminding and scolding, because then she'll be in her motherly mode. That would be in her masculine, okay? Because she's not marrying another child. She's marrying a masculine man. You are marrying a masculine man, not where you can mother someone. You already have children. That would be very, very unattractive. It kills the attraction to have to mother someone, to tell them what to do. And you have been healing from counterfeits relationships of having to mother people, remind them of everything, of where everything is at and what to do and how to treat you. You do not have to train and tell him how to treat you. He should already know how. Obvio. So let's listen.
After everything is over. No arguments, no conversations, no warning, just the sudden, understanding that something extraordinary was carelessly pushed aside.
During this time, the Most High told you to go back. And you needed to. It was an emergency. Okay? Then you had arranged your schedule to go back. The Most High has since told you, cancel those plans and don't go back. So that would be very interesting. So they think that everything is kumbaya and everything is fine. And it was interesting that the Most High told you to do so. So you didn't, let's say you put it on their agenda. You notified them somehow, or let's say you called the office and they have booked appointments for you and you were going to show up and all of a sudden you don't. Because now you had communicated. So first they're confident. They're saying, oh yeah, she's still coming. She's still going to chase. She's still going to be here. And suddenly it's just going to be, I'm so done. And he's having you say, you've done enough. The Most High saying you've done enough and you don't have to go and continue. And there's a reason behind it. It has a lot to do with the person still dealing with pride. They haven't been humbled enough yet. So they won't get it. They have to feel a complete extraction. Like gone. Okay, let's continue.
That is the place that they are sitting in right now. And it is breaking them apart in a way that they never expected. They never saw this coming, right? I'll put it that way. They did not expect this to happen. That is why they are shaking, right? People usually expect pain to arrive immediately after a loss. And they expect sadness to appear right away, but sometimes emotions work differently. And I'm speaking from experience. When I lost my dad, I got the phone call. I was at work. The time zone back at home and here is different. So, my sisters didn't really put 2 and 2 into, to give me that phone call. But what was important at that time is I needed to be made aware. So when they called, I was at work and I was like, well, really? I mean, how is that even possible? He was sick. And you see, so when they said that and dropped that phone call, I went back to my desk at work. I wanted to cry, but then I didn't feel like I wanted to cry. My emotions were deep within me, but I felt okay. I didn't feel sad. I just felt normal. And I was like, okay, now if I isolate myself, I'm gonna be hit hard. So I just continued my day, finished work like nothing happened. As soon as I stepped foot into the house, and it dawned on me, right? It dawned on me. So it did not happen immediately after that call because I was in denial. It did not happen, the pain did not hit me right away because, I was refusing to face it. You see, sometimes the mind protects us, right, by delaying what we're not ready to face. Some people it takes days, some people it takes weeks pass by, and then life continue to move, right? Then for reasons, honestly, I can't fully explain, right? But something usually shifts, and once that shift happens, every protective wall begins to weaken. That is exactly what is happening to this individual. They are no longer able to distract themselves from what they are feeling. And the feeling that's becoming impossible to avoid is grief. Not the kind of grief, that follows a major event. No, the kind that grows from recognition. Because recognition, on the other hand, is like recognizing what you discarded creates a very specific kind of heartbreak, right? Right. Imagine, for example, cleaning out a closet. You decide to donate an old sweater because you haven't worn it in years. Then winter arrives, and then the temperature, drops, and you remember how comfortable that sweater was. You search for it, then you remember, oh, you gave it away. At that point, you're not upset because the sweater disappeared. You're upset because you made the decision too quickly. That's the emotion that is consuming this person as we speak. This person is beginning to understand that they judge too quickly, right? And another reason that they are struggling is because blessings are rarely dramatic. Most blessings enter our lives quietly. They become part of our routine. They've woven into ordinary days, and that is what makes them so easy to overlook, right? This person overlook who you are, right? And they overlook what you brought to the table. They overlook you checking up on them. They overlook that you listened without any judgment, without becoming impatient. You are the person in their life who celebrates their victories as if they were your own, right? They overlook all those things that you did. Those things don't usually attract attention. In fact, they often blend into the background until they are gone. And then every unnoticed act suddenly becomes visible, and they are sitting with a painful question. How many moments did they fail to appreciate all the things you did for them? Although you were not doing with the sense that appreciation needed or had to be given to you, at least recognition, right? Understanding that, like I said, everything blended in, and so this person was not paying attention. Now that the blend is no longer there, they are seeing it from a different perspective. You tried, you showed up, you were always there, and now they have to face the reality. Right. Sometimes it is, the small moments, the phone call that was ignored, the kindness that was not acknowledged, all the things that you did for them. A little bit of acknowledgement would have been, just fine. Right. And it was actually a buildup of a lot of things. Now, those things are no longer there. You are no longer there to, of course, fit their needs or show up for them or be there for them like you did. Now they are seeing your importance in their life, and what hurts the most for them is that they are beginning to understand the difference between rarity and availability. Just because something is available does not mean it's common. A rare blessing can remain in your life for years and you will still fail to recognize it if you mistake access for abundance. And that is exactly what happened with this individual. They confuse your presence with permanence. They assume what you offered would, always be there. But rare things are not defined by how long they remain. They are defined by how difficult they are to replace, and that is becoming painfully obvious. You know what? They are discovering how painful it is. They are discovering that people can imitate kindness. They are discovering a lot of things outside of you that is keeping them shocked in so many ways. But you played your part. You showed up, you were there for them, but they kept pushing it away. And now they have to see it from their own perspective.
And so, again, the word taken for granted. Now, what's going on is this person is interacting with his usual surroundings, and they don't match up to how you were. Like she stated, you celebrated his victories like if they were your own. You were genuine and authentic, and you were genuinely admiring them and encouraging. And now they don't have anybody to even match anything close to how you were. And they are starting to realize how special you were. You're like a rare gem that they lost. And life feels empty. It feels blah. Okay? They don't know what to do. And the counterfeit also wants back in your life, and they don't know what to do. They're trying so hard. They could be lavishing you with gifts too. They could be, pampering you, yet you still don't let them in your emotional circle. They're still not your shoulder to lean on. You're still not romantically involved. You're still friend zoned, in other words. And they're really desperate. They're crying. But just because someone cries, it doesn't mean you let them back in. I know that sounds rude, but it's true. Because they left you crying. They left you crying day in and day out. And they made you feel like you were second option. And it's not like you're making them you're not putting them in second option just because they did to you. You're doing it because you have another option coming your way. You're doing it because the Most High told you to right now. You're doing it because you deserve better. And at first you thought, he's the ordained spouse, I'm supposed to put up with it. But I'm telling you is that they took a mile. They weren't supposed to they weren't supposed to treat you that way. So, this goes to show how they shouldn't listen to those monitoring spirits speaking poorly of you and feeling so self-conscious of how to love you. Now they know not to ever love someone in silence. They should love someone out loud. Because the silence felt like rejection. And you're on your healing journey. So you continue to pour into yourself. You continue to do self-care and self-love. You continue to pray and have a relationship with the Heavenly Father. And He has a wonderful surprise for you. Hit like. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And hit the notification bell. And give me 2 hands emoji if you are in agreement with this prophetic word. Shalom.